If you're shopping in the 45,000 to 50,000 rupees range, you've probably looked at the OnePlus 15R and the iQOO 15R. On paper, they are the trimmed down versions of the OnePlus 15 and iQOO 15. In reality, they do not feel trimmed down at all. The iQOO starts cheaper at 44,999 rupees, but it's the 8GB variant. If you step up to the 12GB variants, both sit at 47,999 rupees. Now that's a straight fight. But here's the twist, neither OnePlus nor iQOO are known for their cameras. That's where the Vivo V70 steps in. Better camera hardware at a similar price, but noticeably weaker performance. So, how much performance are you giving up for better cameras? Or are the 15Rs already good enough? Let's break it down properly, and if you like deep, no fluff comparisons, hit like and subscribe. First up, let's talk design. All three feel far more premium than their price tag suggests. Glass sandwich builds, metallic frames depending on the color, dense and plush in hand. There is no hollow mid-range vibe here. The iQOO 15R in Triumph Silver is 8.1mm thick and 206 grams. The Mint Breeze OnePlus 15R is 8.3mm and 219 grams. The Lemon Yellow Vivo V70 is the slimmest and lightest at 7.59mm and 194 grams. From an engineering standpoint, honestly the iQOO impresses me the most. I mean, packing that 7600 mAh battery in that frame is not that easy. Camera modules differ too. The V70 gives subtle iPhone 16 Pro energy, the iQOO hints at nothing Phone 2S styling, the OnePlus has its own identity. Now, all three get IR Blaster, NFC and Type-C ports, sadly rated at USB 2.0. For durability, Vivo and iQOO offers IP68 and IP69. Vivo also has SDS 5-star drop resistance. OnePlus goes further with IP66, IP68, IP69 and IP69K plus Gorilla Glass 7i. Vivo uses Shot Sensation Core, iQOO uses Sensation Alpha. But if I had to pick purely on feel, the iQOO just feels right in hand. For displays, the OnePlus is the largest at 6.83 inches. Vivo and iQOO both sit at 6.59 inches. All three are 1.5K AMOLED LTPS panels. Pixel density is 450 ppi on the OnePlus and 459 ppi on the other two. But honestly, I cannot tell the difference. Refresh rate is where things shift. The OnePlus goes up to 165Hz, the iQOO does 144Hz, the Vivo tops out at 120Hz. In day-to-day use, all three default to 120Hz, so the real difference shows up in gaming. All three are 10-bit panels covering 100% DCI P3 and showing over 1 billion colors. HBM brightness is rated at 1800 nits across the board, so using it in the sun shouldn't be an issue. In my experience though, the iQOO felt slightly brighter. All three are HDR10+ certified, and on YouTube, all three work great. On Netflix though, the OnePlus does not have HDR and is limited to SD playback. The iQOO and Vivo handle HDR better than the OnePlus and push highlights higher, thanks to 5000 nits peak local brightness. You don't get Dolby Vision on any of them. All three use 3D ultrasonic fingerprint scanners, fast and reliable. For audio, you get stereo speakers across the board, but the OnePlus sounded slightly fuller with better depth. For cameras, the Vivo V70 runs a 50 megapixel main, 8 megapixel ultrawide plus a proper 50 megapixel 3x telephoto. It also gets a 50 megapixel selfie camera. The iQOO 15R and OnePlus 15R both use 50 megapixel main, 8 megapixel ultrawide and 32 megapixel selfie cameras. Processing is different. Vivo gets Zeiss tuning, OnePlus uses its detailed Max engine, iQOO runs Vivo's nice algorithm. In daylight, all three main cameras perform well. The OnePlus runs cooler, but the Vivo looks more natural and pulls slightly ahead. At 2x zoom, Vivo keeps that edge. Sharper photos and better colors, but the other two aren't that far behind. In low light, the Vivo clearly steps forward. Better consistency, better detail retention. The 8 megapixel ultrawides are similar in daylight. In low light, Vivo again looks cleaner. Portraits are good on all three. Vivo has slightly better edge detection and more characterful bokeh. The iQOO is not far behind. In zoom though, Vivo clearly takes the crown from 3x and beyond. Selfies are broadly similar, though the OnePlus lifts skin tones slightly. For video, the OnePlus can shoot 4K 120fps, the other two max out at 4K 60fps. So we tested all three at 4K 60, HDR off and standard stabilization on. The iQOO was the weakest with slight jitter. The Vivo obviously delivered excellent color and stability. But the OnePlus surprised me with a strong dynamic range and strong stabilization. Plus, it is the only one here with portrait video. Overall, the Vivo has the hardware edge because of that 3x telephoto. But if that telephoto lens is not crucial for you, the OnePlus and iQOO are closer than expected, especially the OnePlus. Performance is where the real separation begins. The iQOO and OnePlus run on the Snapdragon 8 Gen 5, the Vivo uses Snapdragon 7 Gen 4, all three get UFS 4.1 storage and LPDDR5X RAM, but the iQOO and OnePlus use faster LPDDR5X Ultra modules. In day-to-day use, all three feel smooth. but push them with heavy gaming or large download and the Vivo starts to slow down. Benchmarks make it clear why. In AnTuTu, the iQOO scored 3.07 million, the OnePlus 2.83 million and the Vivo 1.41 million, barely half. Geekbench tells a similar story with the OnePlus edging slightly ahead, the Vivo again barely half. In 3D Mark Wildlife Extreme Stress Test, the Vivo stability may look solid, but its best and worst loop scores are roughly half of what the other two manage. In gaming, the difference becomes obvious. In BGMI, iQOO and OnePlus deliver 120 FPS natively. Switch on frame generation and the OnePlus hits 165 FPS and iQOO 144 FPS. Over a roughly 30-minute session, the iQOO averaged 143 FPS with 5% lows at 136. The OnePlus averaged 164 FPS with 5% lows at 152. Vivo averaged 58 FPS and yet it ran the warmest. For software, the iQOO 15R and Vivo V70 run on OriginOS 6 while the OnePlus 15R runs OxygenOS 16. All three are based on Android 16, all three feel super smooth and fluid, and all three give you a ton of customization options. All three also take cues from iOS 26, especially that liquid glass-like effect and things like Dynamic Island. On OnePlus, it is called Live Alerts, and on Vivo and iQOO, it is called Origin Island, and it goes a step further with several smart AI shortcuts. For example, you can drag an image into the island to instantly save it, which actually works well in practice. Now, both of them are pretty solid, but if I had to pick one, I would go for OxygenOS. It just feels more polished and well thought out. For example, the app drawer search bar sits at the bottom, which makes it easier to reach. Plus, the apps are also auto-categorized just like an iPhone. The biggest reason though has to be PlusMind. It is genuinely useful and helps in managing reminders, meetings, screenshots, and my random thoughts. And thanks to Google Gemini, it is the personal assistant that I always wanted. Now, all three promise 4 years of Android updates and 6 years of security patches, so longevity is solid whichever you choose. Now, battery life. The iQOO gets a massive 7600 mAh battery and the OnePlus a 7400 mAh pack. In day-to-day use, I can easily push them to 2 days, sometimes even a bit more if I'm more careful. The Vivo has a 6500 mAh cell. It will easily last you a full day, just not quite as long. As for charging, the iQOO goes 100 watts, OnePlus 80 watts and the Vivo 90 watts. The Vivo finishes quickest at around 50 to 55 minutes, while the other two take just over an hour. So, the bottom line, which one should you pick? The Vivo V70 has the edge with cameras, mainly because of the 3x telephoto and slightly stronger portraits, but the gap is not massive. Where the real separation happens is performance. The Vivo clearly trails there. If cameras matter above everything else and you can compromise on power, go for the Vivo. But if you want flagship level performance without sacrificing much in cameras, the OnePlus 15R and iQOO 15R make more sense, especially the OnePlus 15R. Between these two, the OnePlus 15R feels slightly more balanced while the iQOO feels like the endurance king. So, which one would you pick? Let me know in the comments. And yeah, I'll see you in the next one.